Okay, we are going to get started. So, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Penn Engineering Online's admissions webinar. My name is Jacquie Panto. I am the Associate Director of Admissions for Penn Engineering, and we're so happy to see so many of you joining us today. This is our first webinar of the application cycle. As most of you know, our application opened up just a few weeks ago, and in about a month or so, it'll close on August 5th. So we're so excited to talk to you today about application insights, tips on the application, and then we also have a very special guest with us today. We have Tracy Staeudle, and Tracy is the Associate Director of Online Professional Programs. So Tracy is going to be talking to you about all of the resources to help students to be successful. She'll be talking about the many different resources. She'll be talking about our community. She'll be talking about all the ways in which our students can get involved and collaborate and interact with not only one another as students, but with staff and with faculty and with the entire Penn community. So lots of great information in the webinar today. And again, we are so glad to see so many of you here today. So before we dive into the actual material that we're going to be talking about, I just wanted to go over some webinar tips with you. So first of all, we are being recorded today, so there's no need to take notes. If you forget anything, you can go back and watch the webinar. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that on our YouTube channel, or if you go to our website at the very top, go to news, you can filter and you can see all of our webinars and our past webinars. These are a great resource to learn about our program. So I highly recommend that you look at some past webinars as well to learn about our programs. Lots of webinars there in the past that we've done with current students. So you can hear from current students on what it's like to be a student. Lots of webinars with alumni. So again, you can hear about their journey and what they're doing now. So lots of really great information. It's a fabulous resource. Now for the webinar today, if you have questions, and we hope that you do, we want you to use the Q&A function on the Zoom toolbar. So type out your question in that in the toolbar, in that area of comments, type out your question. And then we have about 3 or 4 people that are behind the scenes that are going to be answering those questions. And they're going to be feeding us questions. At the end, we'll have a Q&A session, and we will actually answer a good amount of questions live on camera, so that you can hear lots of different answers. So no matter what, we're going to answer your question, but you need to make sure you put that question in the Zoom toolbar, in the Q&A function. It'll either get answered there or we'll answer it live on camera at the very end. So before I turn it over to Tracy, I did want to go over some information about our programs. And before I even get into the programs, let's talk about why a Penn Online degree. I'm sure many of you are doing lots of research, and there's lots of online programs out there. But why is the Penn degree so different, and what makes the Penn degree the best out there? So I want to go over a few of those points of difference with you. So first of all, number one is our faculty. We have the most amazing faculty. Our faculty is world-renowned, and the same faculty, excellent faculty that teaches in the on-campus program, they teach in the online program. So you're going to be learning from world-renowned top faculty. Again, these are top faculty in the entire industry. And again, the same faculty that teaches on campus will be teaching online. And again, you'll have access to all of their lecture videos. They have office hours and things that Tracy will go over with you in a little bit. So again, faculty is the first reason which sets Penn apart. The second reason, all of our classes are asynchronized. There is nothing scheduled that you have to attend, okay? All of the lectures have been pre-recorded. When we developed and came up with our online programs, we brought all of our professors into the studio. Our professors worked with our instructional design team. These classes were especially designed for the online user, for the end user, the online user. So these are not just PowerPoint presentations. These are specifically designed courses for online, and everything is asynchronized. So you watch the lectures at your leisure based on your schedule and what works for you. In addition to that, there's even more flexibility in terms of when you take your courses or how many courses you take in a semester. So for example, if you only want to take one course a semester, you can do so. That's considered a part-time student. If you want to take 3 courses a semester and be a full-time student, you certainly can do that. If you only want to take 1 course in the fall and 2 or 3 in the spring, you can do that. You can design your schedule to whatever fits your needs. The only requirement is that you take courses in the fall and you take courses in the spring. The summer is optional. So if you don't want to take any courses in the summer, you don't have to. But if you want to take a course in the summer, then you absolutely can, and you can kind of speed up your track to your degree. So again, lots of flexibility in the schedule. There's nothing synchronized, and we have the most amazing world-renowned faculty. But another reason why the Penn Online degree is so different from other programs out there is our community. And if you look at the next slide, you'll see our Penn community is like no other. It is totally interactive, totally collaborative, and we do whatever possible to make sure that our students are connecting. We realize that online programs can be extremely isolating, and we do whatever we can to make sure that our students do not feel isolated. And in fact, we do the complete opposite, and we give them lots of resources to stay connected. Now, I don't want to talk too much on this. I can talk on this all day, but Tracy's going to give you a lot of information about how to get involved with the community. So you'll find out more later on in the webinar. So let's talk about our programs. We have 3 online programs, and I'm sure you're already researching this, but I wanted to spend a few minutes on the programs and a little bit of the differences on the program. So our flagship program with Penn Engineering Online is our MCIT Online program. And this is really a one-of-a-kind program that was tailored to non-computer science majors. So it's a way to get that computer science degree without having a computer science undergraduate degree. So the same knowledge is conferred as a traditional computer science master's degree. So the same knowledge is conferred. So the MCIT online program is basically the same knowledge conferred as a traditional CS program. In addition, the way it is designed, it's 10 courses. There are 6 core courses and 4 electives. So you'll take the 6 core courses, you'll choose 4 electives. So that is our flagship program. And that has been around. We're celebrating our 5 years, which I can't believe, but we're having our 5th year anniversary this year. So it started 5 years ago. The next program is our MSEDS online program. And again, this is designed for individuals who really want to take a deep dive into data science. Now, if you think about it, and as you research this, data science programs are different depending upon the school that's offered in. So there's many different data science programs out there. There's lots of business schools that offer data science programs, and those are going to be more analytics oriented, more business analytics oriented. Because our data science program is offered from the engineering school, this is a very technical data science program. So this is taking a deep dive into data science, from also a technical and not just analytical aspect of it. In order to be considered for this program, applicants are going to have one of 3 criteria. They're either going to have a computer science undergraduate degree. That would be the first criteria. The second criteria would be that they'd have, say, a minor in computer science or 4 core computer science courses on their transcript. They've taken at least 4 good core computer science courses. And then the third criteria, there are some students that apply that have a highly quantitative undergraduate degree, such as a math degree or an engineering degree or some other STEM degree, and they have 2 years working in the industry coding as a data scientist or a data engineer or something along those lines, where they're coding on a day in and day out basis, so they have experience with it. So again, this program, you do need some sort of computer science background in order to be considered for this program. The way the curriculum is designed, it's 4 core courses, 4 technical electives, and then 2 open electives. And then we're so pleased to announce this is our brand new program. This is our MSE AI online program, Artificial Intelligence program, Master of Science in Engineering and Artificial Intelligence online program. This is brand new. So the spring 25 cohort will be our very first cohort. So for those of you who are applying, you're going to have the opportunity to be in our very first class, which is very, very excited. I know we're excited, so hopefully you are as well. It's first of its kind Ivy League, first of its kind AI program at an Ivy League institution. And definitely, this program, you absolutely have to have a computer science degree or a computer engineering degree or some sort of equivalent degree. We know not all, sometimes you have a computer science degree, but maybe your undergraduate school didn't call it a computer science degree. They called it some other fancy name. As long as the coursework is equivalent to a computer science degree or equivalent to a computer engineering degree, then you would be welcome to apply. And this curriculum consists of 7 core courses, 2 technical electives, and 1 open elective. So that kind of gives you an overview of our programs and why our online program is so dynamic. And what I want to do is I want to turn it over to Tracy, and she's going to talk a little bit about what happens after those programs, and then she's going to go into all of the wonderful resources that we offer. So Tracy, it's all yours. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Hi, y'all. I am so happy to be here with everyone. Thank you so much for having me. And I am super stoked to talk more about dual degree in our certificate programs. To introduce myself before I dive in, my name is Tracy Staeudle. I am the Associate Director of Online Professional Programs, and I'm actually the academic advisor assigned to all students who are certificate students and dual degree students. So I love talking about this stuff. And I'm also going to dive into a little bit more after this slide, more about resources, community, as Jackie mentioned, ways to get involved, different events that we have. I'll also dive into student support. But to touch upon more the dual degree with MSEDS and MSEAI, this is for MCIT Online students who, after you complete your MCIT Online degree, you're craving more. And you're like, I would love to have another degree. I'm not done yet. I have my computer science background. I have my computer science foundation, right? You have those 4 electives that you can choose. Why not apply those to one of our other degrees like DS or AI? So the way the dual degree program is set up logistically, it is that you complete and graduate and finish your MCIT Online degree. And then after that, you can complete the second degree in DS or AI for just 6 CUs. So rather than completing 2 degrees for 20 CUs, you're completing 2 degrees for 16 CUs instead. And you would work with an academic advisor like myself, who is assigned to you to help you academically plan when choosing your MCIT electives to make sure that they are double counting or transferring over into the DS or the AI degree. So that's a little bit more about how it works. And if anyone has any more questions on it, again, we have questions and answers at the end of this presentation. And then there is the certificate program piece. So this is actually available not just at MCIT Online for any folks in the room who are interested in data science or artificial intelligence. These are options that you have. So this is still the same sentiment, right? You have graduated from your Penn Engineering degree, and now you are craving more. And you're like, I took all of these electives, but I would love to take more classes and dive more into a specific area like data science or software systems or AI. And that's where you can either take 2 more courses to complete a certificate, and similar to the dual degree where you can double count or transfer in, you can do the same thing for a certificate and complete that in just 2 CUs, which is awesome. Or you can transfer in 1 CU and complete a certificate in 3. Or you can academically plan where there's no overlap between your certificate and your degree, and you're completing all 4 courses in a certificate program. And again, you'll have an assigned advisor like myself, and we'll help coach you through when it comes to academically planning when you are interested in our dual degree program or in our certificate programs. So let me dive in a little bit more now into the resources that you have as a Penn Engineering Online student. So we have campus cultural centers. These are not just an online option and community. This is an online community as well. We have the LGBT Center, we have the Women's Center, we have the Black Cultural Center, the Pan Asian American Community House, we have the Center for Hispanic Excellence. And these are communities that you can access virtually whenever they're holding virtual events. You are more than welcome to join as an online student. We also have an entire career services team. Maybe you are thinking about changing your career, maybe you're thinking of advancing your career, and they're here to assist and support you through all of those changes. And they have career fairs, they have resume workshops, review sessions for your resume. You can meet one-on-one with a career advisor as you are figuring out your next career steps and where you want to go. They're a wonderful bunch. You also have access to something called Handshake, which is a place where you can search different internships and jobs as a Penn student, and they'll help coach you through how to use that resource and also how to network and leverage your network. So they help with job searching, internship searching, all of those amazing things. So yes, this is specifically for Penn Engineering Online students, or that career services team. We also have campus libraries and Penn libraries. This is not just a campus resource as well. There is virtual Penn libraries, and they have plenty of academic journals and anything you could be interested in the field. And if that is too much all at once, when you're looking at the library of all the different resources and journals and things, we actually have our own librarian who can help you out, and they can help you identify what you're looking for in the library. And there is also a way, if you wanted to come to campus, get a photo ID at our Penn Card office, and you're welcome to the physical libraries on campus as well. We also have financial aid and scholarships available to our students. Online students are eligible for federal financial aid so long as you are enrolled in at least 2 CUs. That's usually 2 courses. We also have our Dean's Master's Scholarship that you can learn more about on our website at the time of your application and early admission. And there's also scholarships outside of Penn that you could always research. We also have alumni services. You'll have access to alumni societies after you graduate. You have alumni networking events. I actually just recently went to an alumni event in Seattle, and man, it was popping there. It was a great time. Good food, good people. Everyone's chatting with one another. You just kind of arrive. You can come on your own, and everyone is making friends with one another. And it's fun to get to know people in your area that are also Penn alumni. So that was a fantastic time. You will also have access to something called My Penn after your alumni, which is almost like a LinkedIn for Penn alum. And you can provide more information about your major and your area, and also when you graduated, and you can touch base with other people. And we really do keep close contact with our alumni in our Penn Engineering Online programs. And like Jackie mentioned, we actually bring them back to chat on our webinars. So definitely check out our website and watch some of the webinars that do highlight some of our amazing alumni. And then again, as Jackie promised, our online community is something we really want to dive into. And I actually have a bunch of slides on it. So I'll get to it, because you might be wondering how you get connected when you're not physically in the classroom, or maybe even in the same country as your peers. And we do have a ton of ways to get connected. And we know our students want to connect. So again, like we mentioned before, we really do pride ourselves in our community and how we've created a great community here. So let's get into it a bit on the next slide here. So we have something called MOSA, the MCIT Online Student Association. They host professional and academic opportunities for MCIT students. They have social events, they have coffee chats, they have hackathons, they have peer mentorship. They're a really fun spot. Excuse me a second. You might be wondering, wait, that seems like it's just for MCIT Online. What if I'm MSCDS or MSCAI? As those programs keep going, yes, we are looking into student associations for those programs as well, for those folks to find community as well in a student association and a club. As when it comes to events and connecting, actually the next slide here has a ton more information. So I might jump to the next slide if that's okay. to talk a little bit more about our Slack community, our in-person events, our virtual events, graduation, and jump into all of those things. So we do have networking events for students. One of the biggest ones that you'll find is our in-person event called Fall Fest. It's almost like a homecoming. It's almost like a conference. We'll have a tailgate before a football game, but we'll also have academic sessions with faculty. We'll also have big dinner together, tours of campus, tours of the museums. It is truly a really, really, really fun time. I highly encourage folks to go to it when you're a student here. And it's really just nice to meet your peers in person. And it's nice to meet your TAs and your faculty members, your advisors like myself. I love meeting folks in person. It's completely optional. It's not required, but it's a really fun time and a great way to network with your peers. Graduation as well is such a beautiful moment where folks are graduating and meeting each other for the first time still and coming to graduation. We just had graduation in May, and I just love graduation so much. Virtually speaking, you'll see the active Slack community. We have a Slack workspace for our students that is completely for our students to chat in real time. It is our most popular platform. It's been called the lifeblood of our program. It really is the best way to connect in real time with your peers. It's a fun time in the Slack workspace. Just right now, this week, we're actually having a summer this or that competition in our community channel on the Slack workspace, where we're currently going to be debating things like sunrises or sunsets, and people are posting their best sunrise and people are posting their best sunset that they've ever seen in their life across the world. It is so fun. Folks also create groups in Slack based on interests, based on, asking course planning advice. And also they'll create channels based on where they live so they can meet up and meet in person. I know some folks have met up before in the Bay Area and they all just had a picnic together. I also just had a few students who all realized they all live in Budapest and they all just got coffee together one day because they saw in Slack that they're all from the same area. And it's really awesome to see. We also host regular webinars and virtual events that are career related or policy related. And anytime we launch a new course or new elective, we have a webinar hosted by the faculty member who's teaching that course, and one of our program directors will help facilitate that. Another virtual space for community is our LinkedIn workspace to join our LinkedIn group once you're a student here and you can network with other students. We also have ed discussion boards, which is a place within your classes to discuss with other students or ask your TAs or ask your faculty members questions about the class. Hey, remind me when this homework is due. Hey, is the homework due this Friday or next Friday? And you can go in there and ask things like that. And I also will get into the course support a little bit more on some upcoming slides, but on the next slide here, I'm actually going to get into a little bit more about our road trips. And our career services team leads a bunch of road trips each year, and they will road trip out to you and your location all around the United States and the world. You'll see Singapore and the UK are here. I had the privilege to go on the Seattle road trip. Oh, it's so fun. And we all flew out to Seattle, met up with folks who work out there, live out there. We went to Meta, we went to Expedia, we went to Amazon and toured all of those facilities, met folks who work there. It was so fun and highly encouraged when you're a student here, if we're coming out to your area, to check it out. And it's just a great way, again, to network with your peers, but also to network with different employers if you are looking for a job and connecting with folks. So yeah, that's a little bit more about the community and road trips. So now I'm going to get into a little bit more about the course experience and how you are supported in your classes. So we do have a big team of folks who help us and also help you in running our courses smoothly and that you get all of the support that you need. They'll maintain the Canvas platform. Canvas is where we run all of those asynchronous courses. If you have used something like Blackboard before, it's a similar learning management system. They'll schedule live office hours and recitations throughout all times of the day to accommodate your schedule if you're working full time and also to accommodate different time zones. They'll work with you on any tech issues, things happen. And also, they'll help you with how to troubleshoot as those tech issues might arise if something's not working or you're having trouble submitting an assignment. So, that's an individual team for every single one of our courses to help you, and they're available. They also work with the student success team, right, with my team and folks like me to also let us know if there's any students struggling in classes and to make sure that we reach out to you and we help support you and provide options for you and offer resources to make sure that you're doing okay. So, in the next slide here is actually how, if you wanted to offer more support yourself, and if you wanted to actually get involved as a member of the core staff and delivery team, and also as an extension of the student success team to help students. So, we have here the Teaching and Learning Practicum. This is a not for credit course for students to get involved and get more practical teaching and mentoring experience if that's something that you are seeking, which can look really great on your resume and really add a lot to soft skills that employers are looking for. But it's also a way to give back and help students who might be struggling in courses, and you can meet with them one-on-one. You'll lead recitations, you'll participate in office hours to help support students enrolled in a course. And you'll also be attending seminars and webinars of professionals who do have teaching experience, so you can get more of that practical teaching and mentoring and learn a little bit more. You can do the teaching and learning practicum multiple times throughout your time in a Penn Engineering Online degree program. And it's open to all Penn Engineering Online degree students, regardless of your physical location. We also have academic coaches. These are folks who are somewhere between almost like a mentor and a tutor, and they're here to help students as you transition into your degree program, specifically the MCIT online degree program. And academic coaches are present in those introductory courses that students are taking, which are CIT 591, 2, and 3. And they'll meet regularly with students to provide guidance related to the MCIT online program, those introductory courses. They'll hold information sessions. They'll meet with folks one-on-one. They'll talk to you about your coursework, help you get connected with resources. They'll even help you with job advice where you're like, when do I even start looking for an internship? Am I supposed to be looking now, later? Did you do a dual degree? What did you like about that experience? And talking a little bit more with a student who has been through our program before. So they'll help you get acclimated, to work-life balance if you're working full time and also doing this degree and also having a life outside of this degree. And they'll connect you with university resources, including folks like my team, the student success team, and your assigned academic advisor. We also now have, which is a little bit newer, technical interview coaches. So these folks lead weekly practice sessions and mock interviews, and these are aimed at equipping students with essential skills for the technical interviews as you start applying for more technical jobs in the field. And then lastly here, and then I'll start wrapping up and handing it back to Jackie, are teaching assistants, which maybe you might have been familiar with in any previous degrees. A TA is often called. These are current students. These are peer leaders who have taken the course before. They host office hours and recitations, and they are your course support. They guide students to academic success. They'll help them engage with and understand course materials through those office hours and recitations and meeting one-on-one with students to help support their success. There are student advocates, there are student cheerleaders. They are a great bunch. And this is also a plug that we have also interviewed and chatted with TAs in webinars before. So definitely check those out on our website as well if you wanted to hear a little bit more about the TA experience. I just threw a ton of information at you. This is my last slide here, so I'm going to toss it back to Jackie to talk a little bit more about the applications.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tracy. I always learn like a little something extra every time you do that. I'm like, oh, I forgot we had that. So it helps me out as well. Thanks so much. So I wanted to spend some time. I know a good majority of you probably already started the application or you're getting ready to maybe start it this coming weekend or whatever. So I want to spend some time going over the application and providing some application tips. So over on the left-hand side of the screen under submit your application or submit with your application, you can see all of the necessary elements. And the first thing that I want to say is that each and every element of the application is extremely important. At Penn Engineering Online, we review applications holistically. So every single element is important, and we read applications from top to bottom. So even though you might be a great 4.0 student, don't slack on that personal statement or your resume or selecting recommenders, because it all matters. The full picture matters when we evaluate applications. So for instance, let's talk a little bit, and I'm going to jump around here. For your personal statement, we get a lot of questions with regard to personal statements. The way in which you want to look at the personal statement, it's your interview. We don't interview applicants. So the personal statement is a way for us to interview our applicants through, you submitting something, a written document, um, answering specific questions. So in the application, we give you those specific questions. Please answer them. We get a lot of, good personal statements, and a lot of times applicants are not answering our questions. So they are there for a reason. So we definitely want to make sure that you are answering those questions within the statement that you're submitting. Very, very important. So we really are looking for the passion that you have about the program. What goals do you have? Why are you interested? What are you looking to get out of this program? And is that passion for the program coming through, as well as all the other questions in there? So really, really important. Again, another important element of the application. With regard to letters of recommendation, think about this really carefully. You want to select individuals that know you well, that are know your work, know your project. So if you're looking at professional recommendations, people that you work with, you want your supervisor, your managers, those that are above you on the organizational chart. You don't want to choose coworkers that are on the same level with you. That's kind of like almost picking like a friend. So a coworker that's on the same level with you wouldn't be a good selection for a recommendation, but somebody that's above you on the chain, a supervisor or manager, they're all great individuals to select for a recommendation. You can also do an academic recommendation. If you are recently out of school, by all means, and you've maybe worked really well with a professor, they know your work, they know the projects, obviously, that you've worked on in the classroom, or maybe you've done some research work with them, or you're a student worker with them, another great selection. But on top of that, you also want to be choosing people that are somewhat good writers, and that are going to be detail oriented and give some reasons why. Why are you a great applicant for this program? So you kind of want to think about all of those things when selecting a recommender. We don't care as much about the title. Some applicants will think, oh, wow, I got the president of the company or the CEO of the company to write me a recommendation. If they don't know you very well and it shows, that's not going to be considered a good recommendation. So think about those letters of recommendation very carefully. When you put the contact information in the application, an automatic email goes out to the recommender, gives them some instructions on what they need to do, and it gives them an individual link where they're going to upload the letter of recommendation to that link, and it automatically gets attached to your application. So it's a pretty turnkey process. But again, the thought process that you need to go through is who's the best recommender for you. And you need to think about that long and hard and make sure you're choosing the right people that know you well. In terms of the resume, a lot of applicants use the resume to draw out certain things about themselves with regard to the application. For example, if you've taken some certificate programs or boot camps, you might have a little section on your resume outlining that. If you're an international student and maybe your math courses, the names of your math courses, like maybe you took Math 1 or Math 2, and it doesn't really tell us if it's a linear algebra or a calculus course or things along those lines. Some of our international applicants will actually have a section on their resume that'll say quantitative courses, and they'll list Math 1, and they'll say Math 1 equals, and they'll talk about some of the concepts in Math 1, or Math 2 equals, and they'll talk about some of the concepts that were in that course, etc. So some students might have little sections on their resume to identify or to call out certain things that are important when applying to the programs. In terms of transcripts, all transcripts, I can't stress this enough, all transcripts for all schools that you have attended need to be submitted. All schools need to be listed on the application. All transcripts need to be uploaded. So even if you went to a community college and took 2 courses, you need to list that community college and you need to upload that transcript. Really, really important that you include all transcripts in the application. Okay, there is a $90 application fee that it will also be needed when you submit. The GREs are optional. They're not required. GREs are an awesome tool. If, for instance, let's say you're applying to the MCIT program. Part of the application for the MCIT program is being able to show your quantitative ability. That's really, really important with the MCIT program. So even though let's say you're a history major, you can apply to the program, but you need to show your quantitative ability. So your college transcripts may not necessarily show that. Maybe you didn't take a math course, or maybe you didn't have linear algebra or calculus or whatever other math or quantitative courses. You can use the GRE as your tool to show your quantitative ability. So you can take the GRE, submit those scores, and that is one way to show proof of quantitative ability. So GREs are optional, but they are a tool to show proof of quantitative ability. So they can be important if needed. And then obviously the TOEFL scores are only needed if English, if you're not a US citizen or permanent resident, if English is not your primary language, and if you didn't graduate from a university where the mode of instruction was English, then you will need to supply TOEFL scores. Okay. You can see all of our dates and deadlines on the right-hand side of the screen. Our application opened on June 3rd, and the deadline for early application is August 5th. And very important, we do offer a Dean's Master Scholarship. You can only apply for the Dean's Master Scholarship in the early round. That's really important. You cannot apply for the Dean's Master Scholarship after August 5th. So it is due at early decision deadline. The Dean's Master Scholarship, like Tracy mentioned earlier, is open to US citizens and US permanent residents. If you're an international student and you're looking to help offset costs of tuition, you may want to look into the TLP program that Tracy talked about. Although that does require some hours, extra hours over and above your program, it is certainly a great way to help offset some of the cost of tuition. So that international students should look into that. The great thing about our application system is that once you submit that application, you'll always be able to check on the status of your application through your application portal application status page. So once you submit, when you log back in, it'll bring you to your status page, and you can see when recommenders submit the letters of recommendation. If you are submitting a GRE score, you can see when that GRE score, if it's been reached by us or not. So you can totally see the status of any missing documents or missing material, such as letters of recommendation or test scores. So that's a really, really nice feature of our application. Okay. If you're looking to apply to regular deadline, that deadline date is October 7th. So you have plenty of time if you're looking to hold off and apply for our regular admission. There is no difference between early admission and regular admission. The only difference is if you're applying to the Dean's Master Scholarship and if you want to find out your decision earlier or not. Okay, so I think at this point we are going to go. I feel like we've got a ton of questions that were coming in here. So we are going to go to our Q&A portion and see what we can come up with here. So question number 1 seems like an admissions question. It says, I've been out of school for 5 years. Do I need to do anything to show that I can handle the academic course load? That's a great question. We have applicants that apply. First of all, if you look at our age ranges in our program, I think it's something from like 21 to age 60. So we have all different ages applying to our programs. If you've been out of school a while, what some of our applicants do, some applicants that have been out of school a while, they might take the GRE to show that, okay, I've got this academic ability or I have the quantitative ability. Let me take the GRE, I'll submit the GRE scores, and they know I still have it. Or they might go to a local college and take a course. They might take a math course, let's say, and get a great grade on it, submit that transcript, put that college on their application, submit that transcript. And again, that kind of shows that they still have it and they've kind of freshened up or brushed up on certain courses. So there's definitely ways to show that you still have that academic ability through either taking a course or taking the GRE. So hopefully that answers that question. Second question. Let's see here. How can one apply? Maybe Tracy, you might be able, either you or I can answer. It has to do with dual degree, so we can either both jump in. I'll take the first part. If I say something wrong, you can correct me. How can one apply to the dual degree? When applying online through Penn Engineering Online graduate degree website, there is no option for the dual degree program. And that is understandable because you apply to the dual degree program when you're in your last semester of MCIT. So you can't do the second degree until you actually complete the first degree. So you'll complete the MCIT program and then have the potential to matriculate into the second degree. But in your last semester of MCIT, you can apply to say either MSEAI or MSEDS through the abbreviated application, through the dual degree application. So you'll be able to apply for it in your last semester. Again, it's an abbreviated application. You're not going to go through everything you're going through here. You need a 3.5 grade point average to be accepted as a dual degree student. But what that gives you, it gives you the ability, like Tracy mentioned earlier, to bring 4 courses with you to that second degree. So you have the potential for 4 courses to count in the first degree, as well as the second degree, only leaving you 6 additional courses for that second degree. Although you can't apply until the last semester of MCIT, I know Tracy's going to agree with me here. Let your advisor know you are thinking about it, because your advisor will help you to stay on track to make sure you're taking the right courses for that second degree. So you have the 4 courses to move to second degree. So keep your advisor in tune to what's going on. So when you meet with them the very first time, you get accepted, you're a new student, you meet with them very first time, you tell them, I'm interested in dual degree, and this is the program that I'm interested in, so they can help to keep you on track. That's important. So the reason why you didn't see it is because you don't apply until your last semester of the MCIT program.
Yeah,
So
I completely agree with everything Jacquie said. I'll just chime in. Also, the dates and application deadlines are just different for dual degree. So maybe if you looked maybe a month or 2 ago, you might have actually saw it for an option for any students who were in their last semester or half graduated, but they look a little bit different. And I'll also absolutely echo Jacquie's sentiments of letting your assigned advisor know that you're interested in dual degree. What I like to tell students is, as I mentioned earlier, I'm the dual degree advisor. I work with all of our dual degree students. So letting your academic advisor know you're interested, and then you can think of me as your bonus advisor when it comes to academic planning and assisting with picking your electives and those sorts of things. But Jacquie, you absolutely nailed it.
great. And then the next question is, why choose an online program over an in-person program? So there's lots of different reasons for that. It really depends on what you're looking for and what your goal is. They're 2 completely different modes of deliveries of education. The online program, if the reason why the online program was designed was to be able to deliver this program to more people around the world, basically. So if you have a very busy lifestyle, if you can't move to Philadelphia, whatever the case may be, this allows you to get the same degree program as an on-campus student from anywhere you are, anywhere in the world. Or even if you live in the Philadelphia area, but you travel all the time for work, you can do this program anywhere. Okay, it doesn't require you to log in at any time for anything other than the exam times that you pick. So it's really what your lifestyle is and what you're looking for. They're both great. There's not, one isn't better than the other. They're both great, but it depends on what you're looking for and what your personal goals are and what you need. So I think that's probably the best way to answer it. I will say that if you look at, I want to say it was Professor Chris Callison Birch, when he went over the AI program, he talked about maybe it wasn't him, one of our professors. So go and watch some of our professor videos, but they talked about when they came into the studio to record their online programs, they actually said they felt like it was a better way in some cases of learning, because just the delivery of it and the way that it's presented, and the job that the instructional team did and the recording of it. And they felt that they got so much more out of it, and it was just a new way of looking at the program. So again, there's no right or wrong. They're on campus is a great program, online is a great program. It just depends on what you need and what your goals are. It's just a different way, a different mode, and what the amount of flexibility you need is what it comes down to. Okay. Can the GRE or the GMAT help strengthen applications? So, like I said earlier, the GMAT or the GRE, it is a tool. So if a student is applying to say the MCIT program, like I mentioned earlier, and they look at their transcripts and either they feel they don't have enough math, they don't have any math, or their math grades were poor, or whatever the case may be, then that GRE or that GMAT, they take that, they do well in it, then yes, it could help them to show proof of quantitative ability, which in turn would help them to strengthen their application. If we have an applicant that's applying to MSCDS or MSCIE, and perhaps their undergrad was several years ago and they haven't been in a classroom in a while, and they take the GRE and they do really well in it, then yep, it might just strengthen their application from the standpoint of proving that they still have the ability to have that academic ability because they've studied for the GMAT and the GRE, and they've taken it and they've done it well. So in those cases, it can help to strengthen it, but it is not required. We don't care if you submit a GMAT or a GRE. There's plenty of individuals that get accepted without a GMAT or a GRE, but there's definitely individuals that get accepted because they've used the GRE as a tool to help them in certain areas. So it just depends on what your overall story is, what your overall application looks like. So you have to kind of take a look at that and feel, do you need it to be successful? Is really what it comes down to. Okay, with all classes being asynchronized, is it encouraged to contact faculty or TAs with questions related to lectures? Wondering how interactive the community is with fully asynchronized lectures. Tracy, please.
Yeah, I am more than happy to answer this question. So, although the courses are asynchronous, the student and academic support is synchronous. So, it is highly encouraged that you attend office hours synchronously, attend recitations synchronously. Folks are meeting up where their professors will hold office hours, their TAs will hold office hours synchronously. When those are open office hours and open recitations, those are recorded in case you're not able to make that time. We are still completely accessible, but you'll find actually, sorry for the notification sound, that I am often referring students when they come to advising appointments with me, please go talk to your TA or go have a one-on-one meeting with the TA, or how about you go have a one-on-one meeting with your faculty member? So I just really want to stress that the support that is offered is synchronous and encourage that you can meet synchronously whenever you can.
Yeah, and even from the standpoint of, and you might have mentioned this, and sorry, that was my, obviously I didn't turn my notifications off, so I hope we don't get any more. I apologize. Even from with your advisor, I mean, you'll schedule time to meet with your advisors, and our advising team does an amazing job of offering office hours to accommodate, all the different time zones. So they'll have evening office hours or weekend office hours or early morning office hours, etc., to help out with that. And then you would be scheduling those synchronized meetings with the academic team as well to help you academically. So yeah, even though the lectures are asynchronized, faculty office hours, TA office hours, our advisors, there's so much support there for you as well. Great.
Yeah, and thanks for reminding me. Yes, advisors have the synchronous support as well. So definitely you can meet with your assigned advisor live over Zoom. And you also just reminded me this question mentioned a bit about the community piece. Students also do chat in Slack that are registered for the same course and do get together for study groups. And they'll also meet and get together. So when it comes back to the community piece, your peers are there and they all want to help one another. So I'll just throw that in there.
Yeah. And actually, that's reminding me, there is a whole series. We have a webinar series on collaborative community. It was done, I think, back in March of this year, so March 24. So if you go to our YouTube channel or if you go to our website under news, you'll find collaborative community. And it was 5 webinars where we brought students in for each of the 5 webinars, and they talked about the collaborative community. So if anybody has questions about that, I would suggest to pull up those videos and hear it directly from the students, because they touch upon a lot of this for sure. Okay, question 8. If I apply for MSEAI for the MSEAI program only, will my application be considered for potential? Excuse me, let me try again. If I apply to the MSEAI program, will my application be considered for other potential options if my application is not selected for the program that I apply for? That is a great question. And yes, that is exactly what happens. So, for example, if you apply to MSEAI, let's say, and you don't have a computer science degree, okay, but maybe you have 4 or 5 really strong computer science courses, but not enough coursework that it's a degree. So we might say, or not we, the committee might say, the admissions committee might say, okay, this is a star applicant. They have the great personal statement, they have everything, everything's in line, but they just don't meet, they may not be successful in MSEAI because they don't have that CS degree, but we can offer them admission into the MSEDS program. So that's what they might do. We call that a cross program admit, and that is definitely an option. Or maybe you apply to MSEDS, but you don't meet one of the 3 criteria. You could get offered the MCIT program. So we view all applications for all programs. So yes, if you could possibly get accepted to another program. There's actually a question on the application that says, would you consider other programs? We do look at that. It's not to say that we don't offer it if you don't check that off, but if you are interested in other programs, then I would definitely check that off as a yes, because we do look at that question. Okay, hope that helps. For international students from an English-speaking country, is WES conversion mandatory? So WES conversion is not mandatory at all. We require that transcripts are in English. So for all transcripts, they should be in English. But you do not need to submit a WES. For international students who aren't, where their transcript's not in a 4.0 grading scale, it is definitely recommended. It definitely helps when evaluating transcripts to have a WES. But it's not required because there's a cost involved right now. So it's not required right now. If your transcript is not in the 4.0 grade scale, please, absolutely, you must include the grading scale when you upload the transcript. So make that the last page and upload the grading scale so that the transcripts can be evaluated. That's really, really important. Okay, let me just see, I'm just scrolling through to see if there's any more questions. And I think we have hit them all. Okay, so we are almost out of time. But what I wanted to do is, and there are great questions, by the way. Everybody asked such great questions. So it's a super job there. But what I want to do is just to kind of go over what happens after this. What happens if you have a question after the webinar? So the first thing that I tell applicants is to check out our FAQ database, which is on the website. It's very easy to do. You can just You can just go on the website and go into the search bar there and type in FAQ. You'll get to the FAQ database. Tons and tons of questions and answers in that database. So I would definitely try that. Also, we have office hours. Our admissions team has office hours. We offer them almost every day. The summer, there are some vacations in the summer. So if you see a little bit a week where we don't have as many, it's probably because of vacations. But we do try to offer office hours pretty much every day, including weekends, usually evening office hours. Meet with us. We love to meet with our applicants. We love to see you on Zoom. We love to answer your questions. So definitely sign up for office hours if you have any specific questions. Additional webinars and events. Go to our events page. We have lots of coffee chats. I highly recommend coffee chats. If you've never been to a coffee chat, it's an informal meeting. We don't do any formal presentation. Applicants just ask their questions and the admissions team just answers. What I love about a coffee chat is you get to hear what other applicants are asking. You unmute, you can turn your camera on, you get to see people, you get to hear what they're asking. And a lot of times you think you don't have any questions, and then you hear other people ask those questions, and you're like, wow, that's a great question. I didn't even think of that. So that's why I highly recommend coffee chats. Even if you don't have questions or you don't want to ask any questions, attend them just to hear what other people are asking. It is a great way to learn about our programs and the admissions process. So highly recommend coffee chats. We have a ton coming up over the month of July. And then the last thing is please email us. If you have a question, email us. There's about 3 or 4 people on our inbox at all times. We do our best to answer emails within 24 hours, business hours, not over the weekend. But email us. We'll definitely get back to you. So lots of ways. And again, don't forget about those past webinars. I gave you lots of suggestions on past webinars as well. So lots of ways to learn about our programs and the admissions process. And the bottom line, all of us, admissions, student affairs, we're all here to help you. And we wish you the best of luck over the next month in working on your applications. So thanks so much for being with us today. I hope you have a good rest of your day or evening, wherever you're joining us from. And I hope to see you again on a webinar or on an event next month. Take care all. Bye-bye. Thank you.